Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. If it's your first time seeing me, go ahead and like this video because I know you're gonna like it already. Subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss another upload. And if you already are subscribed, hey babies, welcome back. So today guys, we are going to be talking about escapism, and we're just going to be talking about how to deal with escapism, how you should feel about it, what it is, and kind of how you can use those energies for your benefit a little bit as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Of course guys, you know you can always check the description box to see where you can follow me on Instagram, or you can shop my products, or you can do personal readings with me, mentorships, all of that and then some. So yes, make sure you guys check that down below. Also guys, my book club Enlighten Reads, we're going to be starting to read our second book next week. So if you guys are interested, go on Instagram and look up Enlighten Reads, and you'll be able to find it there. I have the @ name on the screen so you guys can find it if you're interested in reading. We just finished reading Sacred Woman, so you can check into the content for that book as well. But we are on to the next book already. So I thank you guys who have already gotten involved in the book club. I appreciate you guys, and I cannot wait to wrap up this one to get into the next space. So let's go ahead and get right into the video guys. All things escapism. So escapism is about looking for distractions when we are faced with unpleasant realities. So not wanting to deal with the uncomfortable, harsh things that we are experiencing on an everyday basis. So I definitely think everyone experiences leaning on escapism to a certain degree. I definitely feel like anything too much of it can definitely be harmful. So I definitely think that there is time for escapism. I definitely think that there is time to take a break. There is time to find healthy things that can distract you and can, you know, give you just something else to focus on or something else to think about. But of course, when we feel like we're consistently going to escapism, we're consistently turning towards addictions or turning towards things that aren't going to elevate us, or things that really aren't going to be bringing any good into our life, just things that, you know, kind of keep us stagnant, just keeping up with the same routine, and just, you know, feeling like we're doing all we can to avoid what's going on around us. You know, spaces like that is definitely where it can become harmful and really keep you stagnant and really keep you in a space where you feel like you're safe because you aren't dealing with the pain, but in reality, you're just living in constant fear of finally having to face these things one day. So I always feel like the best way to deal with anything or figure it out or heal or move past it is just to face it and accept it. I always say that releasing is really acceptance. So let's get into some different ways. Sorry guys, I feel like I keep adjusting down here on the floor, and I feel like I keep getting lower and lower, but I definitely feel like, you know, when it comes to escapism, you really want to ask yourself, what are you so afraid of? Are you afraid of heartbreak? Are you afraid of realizing how you were contributing, you know, to the negativity? Are you afraid of realizing how someone very, very close to you did you something? Are you afraid of being uncomfortable? Are you afraid to step into uncharted waters? Are you afraid to take a risk? You know, really figure out where that fear is coming from. Whenever you saw a sign or got a download or received a message, you just started feeling like something was about to happen, something was about to shift, or stuff maybe has started to crumble already. What causes you to back away? You know, do you feel like you can't handle it? Do you get overwhelmed? And if you do get overwhelmed, how can you create a system where you're able to release that stress, release that anxiety, and then come back better, more focused, and really able to handle the space that you are in? You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel when we're talking about avoidance, denial, trying to turn away and ignore things that are causing us, you know, confusion, things that are causing us conflict, things that are causing us to be uncomfortable. These temporary fixes are only going to last for so long. Eventually, it's all going to come out. And I feel like if you're someone that deals with escapism, you know good and well, you cannot run forever. You cannot hide forever. Eventually, the stuff that you are praying never comes out, praying you never have to deal with, it constantly is coming back up at you. And the more you're pushing it away, the more you're avoiding it, the more you're just telling the universe, this is something that is so powerful over me. This is something that is going to take me out. I cannot even look at this. I can't even look in the direction of this. So your fear of that just makes it scarier and scarier and scarier. And it creates a space where you can spend years not dealing with things. And think about the people in your life who've caused you harm. Think about the people in life that have caused you pain. You know, some of us, we have mothers, fathers, uncles, family members, friends, even people in our lives that have been using escapism since they were born. to deal with trauma, abuse, pain, confusion, fear, loss, grief. It's like there's so many humans walking around this planet who have never dealt with their emotions. And these are the narcissists and the toxic people and the people who hurt us and the people that we are running from our entire lives. And you will very, very easily become one of those people as well if escapism is your only way, you know, because it's only going to work in certain spaces and only for certain times. And what I mean by that is there's always a time that it's okay for you to decompress. It's okay for you to walk away, but you have to decide what your boundary is on that. You know what I'm saying? If you honestly can table something for 72 hours and then come back to it with a clear mind, then do that if it works for you. But how will you know it works for you if you don't ever give it a shot? You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like I definitely, you know, try to avoid thinking about certain situations or thinking about certain people or just reliving certain thoughts because it was painful for me and it would make me cry or it would make me upset. And I still kind of deal with this anyway. Like, I'm definitely avoiding therapy because I just don't want to cry in front of anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I avoid a lot of things that I know are going to cause me pain, but I also understand that whatever needs to happen is going to happen anyway. Like, it was weeks that I was avoiding therapy, and then I had this huge emotional purge, you know, that was very, very intense, very, very crazy, a huge, huge, huge release that I dealt with by myself, you know, while I was out of town. It kind of came at an inconvenient time, you know what I'm saying? But something was building and building and building and building, and I did not want to deal with it. So when I finally just couldn't handle it anymore, then it just came out however it did. But you don't get to decide how something comes out when you stuff it down. And a lot of times we feel like, oh, I was fine right before I had my breakdown. I was okay right up until that moment. Or I didn't even realize how this would affect me. I didn't even realize how this has poisoned me. I didn't even realize how I've been carrying this grudge and it's been getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And I haven't even noticed it's been getting so heavy because I haven't even been looking at it. It's like if you just deal with something up front, you can really solve yourself a lot of heartbreak, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion. And also you won't be doing those things to people in your life. Like, let's say, for example, if you are non-confrontational. Okay, I know a lot of people who are non-confrontational. I have a lot of friends who are non-confrontational, and that is really some bullshit. Okay, there is nothing wrong with confrontation. You have to be okay to tell someone, you are disrespecting my time, you are disrespecting my peace, you're disrespecting my energy. I'm not okay with how this is going. I'm not okay with the conversations we've been having. I'm not okay with what's going on right here in this space. You know, you have to be okay with speaking up for yourself. You have to be okay with understanding when something is not aligned and knowing that it's up to you to make it better. If you don't ever tell anyone your boundaries, don't ever expect for anyone to respect your time or your energy or you, because you haven't told them that. And humans typically will do to you what you allow them to do, you know what I'm saying? And I always talk about how I never take advantage of my friends, even though I know some of them would allow me to take advantage of them. That's just not the type of person I am. I don't like getting things from people because I know that they feel like their arm is twisted anytime somebody asks them anything and they have to say yes. If I know that's how you rock, I don't even want to ask you nothing. I don't even want to put you in that space. But everybody isn't able to pick up on that. People are not mind readers, you know what I'm saying? So escapism can touch your life in so many different ways where you're always avoiding uncomfortable spaces, but it doesn't make anything better because now your boundaries are going to get abused again. Now you're going to be in the same space again tomorrow when you have to say yes again. So understanding the fact that long-term escapism as a means of healing or a means of coping only exacerbates the pain and the trauma that you are feeling and that you are running away from. It only makes it a bigger and bigger monster. And sometimes I've referred to a few things as like monsters in your closet. You know, if you feel like there is a monster in the closet and you haven't opened that closet forever, you're gonna think it's so big, like the fear and the anticipation is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until eventually you crack. And you have to tell somebody there's a monster in my closet, and then the veil is able to be lifted and you're able to see, oh, this wasn't that bad. It's literally the same thing with escapism. I feel like a lot of times we run and run and run and run for something, and the longer we run, of course, the more difficult it's going to be when we finally slow down. But once you get over that hump, there is so much peace. There's so much, you know, understanding. Your mind is so clear. I feel like for me, I always feel like a brand new person. I literally feel like a newborn baby after I have an emotional release. I feel like I have a new soul, a new mind. I feel like I can do all of these new things because I finally released what has been, you know, keeping me captive for so long, to be honest. And a lot of times we don't even realize how things are so deeply affecting us in really, really, really negative, harsh ways. But you definitely just want to remember that you are in control and that you have the power. So literally get real with yourself and just figure out, okay, I'm running from this. Is this making me stronger? Is this making me more powerful? Is this making me heal? Because we run from these things because we feel like it's going to make it better. So really have a conversation with yourself. Is this making it better? Is this fulfilling what I need right now? I'm doing this because I think it's going to make it better. Either it is or it isn't. If it isn't making it better, then what will make it better? You know, what can I do differently? And like I said, you don't want to traumatize yourself further by not giving yourself any time off, by not letting yourself have any grace, because of course sometimes we experience trauma and we might need a couple of days to think about it or focus on it. But you do not want to let something stew in your spirit for longer than a week. Absolutely not. Like literally, I would say give yourself 72 hours if you feel like you need time. But you want to get comfortable with facing things that are difficult, because you're going to face difficult things your entire life. So the list of things that you're avoiding is only going to get longer and longer and longer, and you're only going to get more and more sensitive and more triggered by every little thing, because it's going to be something else that can put you in an uncomfortable space. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us have developed, you know, this cycle or habit of escapism as a coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've done it. I do not like being emotional. I would rather avoid it. So if there's anything that I can do to help me just stop showing my emotions, or anything that I can do to maybe even numb my emotions when I'm in a heightened emotional state, that's what I want to do. I want to hide from the world. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to go in my bubble and just deal with it myself. So me fighting that looks like me having a bad day and letting someone know, hey, I'm not having a good day. You know what I'm saying? I need some support. I'm dealing with a lot of stress. How can I prioritize? How can I get back organized? You know what I'm saying? I need help. You know, I have a support system. I have people who I know that, you know, care about me and they want me to be in a good space mentally. So I know that if I need help, I can ask for it. And if I need help and I don't want to ask, then I take the time to do the reflection necessary for me. And in that space, I make sure that I'm not working really hard. I make sure that I'm not stressing myself out with other unnecessary stuff. You know, if you want to use escapism, and let's not even call it escapism if we're talking about doing it in a healthy way, let's just call it giving yourself a mental break. If you want to give yourself a mental break, then you have to make sure that it is a mental break. You have to make sure that in that space you are thinking about good things, you're really focused on gratitude, you're taking it easy, you're cleansing your energy, you're cleansing your home, you're doing the necessary things to kind of repair yourself and get you together so you can deal with it. It's not so you can forget it, put it in the past and move forward. You're going to have to deal regardless. So you want to make sure when you do deal, you're in a space where you're of sound mind, of sound body, and you can trust, like, okay, I'm ready for this right now. I wasn't ready a couple of days ago. I had some time to get my mind right, and now I'm ready. We're trying to put that trauma further and further and further in the past, and we're trying to just fill every day with so many things that can just keep us moving and keep us going. But sometimes things happen to sit us down, and there is nothing wrong with that. So also getting comfortable with noticing a sign to sit down. If you are triggered by something, it instantly puts you in a space of avoidance, then that's a sign that that is something you need to deal with. You should be able to look at, talk about, understand, and accept everything that you have experienced in this life. Well, let me not say understand, because there's a lot of stuff I've experienced that I won't say I understand. Acceptance is better, because, you know, when you deal with trauma and abuse, you don't ever want to say, okay, I understand why this person abused me, because you might not ever understand it, or you might not ever be able to understand it. But you can accept that it happened, and accept that that's just the type of person and that's just what they like to do. And you can accept that it doesn't define you, and you can accept that it isn't going to change every little thing about you for the rest of your life. You know, we can also get so attached to our current reality that when uncomfortable things come up, escapism is all we know, because we don't want anything to change. We want things to stay normal. That's why in relationships you see something and you turn a blind eye, or when you're on this job, or when you're doing something, and, you know, like, I feel like I've definitely experienced, you know, getting things that I just thought I wanted so bad, and then realizing issues about these things, and just trying to kind of talk myself out of it, or be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. Like, it's kind of something that we do automatically without thinking, you know. So if it's a problem for you, you definitely want to make sure you make a conscious decision to deal and to focus and to look at whatever is bothering you. And I remember watching an interview that Money Long did with Don't Call Me White Girl, and, you know, Don't Call Me White Girl was asking her, Mona was asking her, how does she basically heal, trauma and stuff. And Money Long was saying she literally thinks about it over and over and over again until it just doesn't affect her anymore, until she's numb to it. And that is a very basic way of saying it, but that's literally what all of this is. You got to think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it and understand their perspective, your perspective, what you went through, what they went through, the clarity that you need to move forward, the clarity that you need to, accept something and release it is in the situation. But a lot of times we're acting off of emotion, we're acting off of fear, depression, confusion, anxiety. We don't even want to unpack a certain situation. But unpacking really leaves you with the peace that you are wanting. And if the goal is peace, then you have to understand you're not going to get it with escapism. You're not going to get it with running and running and running and running and running. And if you really, really, really want peace, then you have to understand that there is going to be some confusion in that. Beauty is pain, honey. So it's going to be some heavy lifting that's going to be necessary to get you past that point. But you also want to understand that you are in the space that you are in now for a reason, that you are blessed to be in the space that you're in, and that everything that is happening, everything that you've experienced are things that you can handle. You know what I'm saying? You're still here. God is good. So the things that you are running away from are things that are not bigger than you. These are not things that have power over you. These are not things that are conquering over you. Even if you feel like you have issues with family, or you're living in a space with people who just don't give you what you need, you know what I'm saying? You can always find ways to create a space of peace for yourself. You can always find ways to just get yourself in the right mindset, in the right mood, in the right energy, on the right vibration, so you can start to deal with the things that you have been running from. And that's when you really are able to take your power back and realize, like, wow, I don't have to be a victim to anything. I don't have to be afraid of anything. I don't have to be triggered by anything, because anything that comes up against me, I'm able to stand up to it, and I'm able to deal with it and figure out where it came from and how it's affected me, and how can I release it, and how can I move forward, and what needs to be next for me. You know what I'm saying? So you really just want to make sure that in this space you are really trusting yourself, and that you're trusting your mind, and you're trusting that you're going to be making the right decisions to lead yourself forward. So yeah, when things come up, it's not to just be pushed to the back, but you also want to make sure that you are ready for that. So have a conversation with yourself. Just decide if you want to keep running for a couple of weeks before you decide to sit down and figure out what you've been running from, and start to, get active and give yourself 72 hours before you tackle something. Work on it as long as you need to, because it's not going to be 72 hours and then this great epiphany. It'll be 72 hours and then you'll start the healing process. And like I said, in that 72 hours, love yourself. Self-love, nature, good food, laughter, enjoy yourself, pour into you, cleanse your energy, cleanse your home, do things that make you feel your best. Work out, whatever that is for you. Do things that make you feel your best. And then when you have loved on yourself, get ready. A lot of times things can come when we least expect them, and that is understandable, but give yourself a window, give yourself that grace. And it's also about that discipline too, because you're giving yourself 72 hours, but you're also not giving yourself 6 months to deal with something that maybe would have taken 4 weeks, or however long, because sometimes things take a long time to heal. But we just want to make sure that we get the process started. It don't matter how long it takes if you've already gotten started. If you already have gotten started, then who cares how long it takes? You've already gotten started, and that is the hardest part. Like, you can be healing a million things at once. We all are. So just getting into it and dedicating your time and energy to it as well, and just lifting the veil and realizing how you really, really feel, because a lot of times escapism is not making you feel better. It's making things worse. So yeah, guys, that is the tea on escapism. I hope this video gave you guys some really good insight and some different perspectives on escapism, and how, you can just make sure that across the board, you are moving forward, you're believing in yourself, you're loving yourself, and that you are giving yourself the things that you need, especially giving yourself the things that you need to deal with the harsh discoveries, the harsh realities of this world that we live in. It's a lot of confusion, it's a lot of heavy energies that we all deal with and experience, but we are capable of dealing with these things and moving forward. So yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a great, 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 awesome day. So yes, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all as always, and I will see you guys later. Bye guys. Bless.